Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to talk about a great book that's been published this year, and it's called Entering Hecate's Cave by Cyndi Brannen. So here is the book, and I know this goddess can be pronounced Hekate or Hecate. I tend to pronounce the goddess as Hecate. So I just thought I'd make that point to start with. This has been published by Weiser, and the subtitle of the book is The Journey Through Darkness to Wholeness. And this book has taken me by surprise. I was browsing in a bookshop a few weeks ago, and I picked up this book. I didn't know about this book. Very often I know about books that are newly published, but I didn't know about this book. But I happened to pick this one up, and when I saw the cover, there were two things I thought of. First of all, I thought, well, I love the cover. The artwork is really beautiful. I love it. It's a great cover. I noticed that first of all, and then I thought, oh, okay, another book about Hecate. Do we really need another one, or is this one going to be different? I have a few books about Hecate, but I don't have a lot. But this one really took me by surprise. I picked this up, started to browse through it, and thought, wow, this is really well written. Then I thought, I looked at the chapters, and what took me by surprise is how relevant this book is to my stage in life now. And it was talking about issues and topics that I have been becoming interested in. So it was like this coincidence, and I thought, wow, this is really striking a chord with me. And as for the goddess Hecate, many years ago, at the beginning of my path, over 25 years ago, the first 5 to 7 years were spent on doing a lot of goddess type of study and inner work with the goddesses Demeter and Persephone. That was quite a while ago. So I basically thought, oh, okay, I've done a lot of work with that. I seem to be finished with my goddess work. And I got quite involved, as some people may know, with Kabbalah and my esoteric path. So the goddess, and particularly the inner work, well, let's just say the inner work with the goddess archetype had really been very much on hold. So when I picked up this book and looked at it and thought, oh, wait a minute, I really need to take notice of this book. I really need to get this book, and I really need to re-examine issues that I know have been coming to the surface. Hecate is quite a Scorpio type of energy, and I've had a Pluto transit, quite a long one, that started about 7 years ago. It was around the time that I started my previous channel. So I was just starting to enter the realm of Hekate then, but not realising then what was going on. I was sort of at the entrance of the cave, and I didn't realise what was happening. And now 7 years down the track, I well and truly am in the cave. So I know this cave. I know this cave, I know the issues, and it's made me revise and rethink the whole archetype and energy of Hekate. So I'll talk about what's in the book in a moment. I'm just going to show a card from the Daughters of the Moon tarot. There was a video on my channel more recently about that deck. I think it's mainly out of print, but anyway. This is the Goddess Hekate from Daughters of the Moon tarot, and this is the Crone of Cups, and I think it's a really beautiful image of Hekate, so I wanted to show that. And yeah, she's very much, looks like she's in her cave there, just waiting for when you are ready to enter and do some pretty heavy duty work. Pretty heavy duty. Believe me, there's been quite a few initiations going on. Yeah, like I said, all of this has taken me quite by surprise, but it's like that saying, no pain, no gain. That's what Hekate is very much about. There has to be, it's going to be painful. It's not going to be easy at all. And I've had health problems at the same time this has been going on, so there's been a physical response as well as a psychological response going on. But I wouldn't trade this for anything. The kind of insights that I've got from this, especially this year, being right in the middle of the cave. I would not trade that for anything, but it has been so difficult. It really has been. And here is the Death card from the Thoth deck, which is associated with Scorpio. And a few times this year I have really felt like this, really stripped back. So that's what I meant when I was talking about, there's been more than one initiation going on. But there's also a deep healing that's underway, and that's, it's been taking place. So I have very much felt like that this year. And I think there's definitely more to come. I'm sure next year is going to be quite full on. But it's like this year has been preparing me very much, especially psychologically, for this. Now to talk about the book. I had to do that introduction. I'm sorry about that, but I had to do this introduction. What is in this book? It's more like what is not in this book. It's there. I love the way the book is set out. I love the way there is the Greek name for each of the chapters. Then there is a description. There is an introduction called The Call. And this is very much a call. I did not expect to have this call from Hekate, not at all. But you basically have to surrender, which is what I've done. You have to surrender to that and just say, okay, I know there's issues, I know I need to look at a few things, and it's now or never. I have to answer this call. So chapter 1 is called Anima Mundi, the deeper world. That's the first chapter. The second chapter is the keys. Chapter 3 is Triformis, the transformation. Chapter 4 is the awakening. Chapter 5 is the crossroads. Now, the crossroads I was very much aware of for even a year or two before I realised I had entered the cave. I well and truly have known about being at a crossroads. So that has sort of happened first, and I think that kind of makes sense. You know you're standing at crossroads, but you don't know what direction that's going to go in. Chapter 6 is the threshold. I've also been very aware of a threshold as well. Chapter 7 is the descent. Chapter 8 is the illumination. And I very much take that to mean the insights. The insights I've been getting this year were unexpected. A lot of them were about old issues, and I mean really very old issues, deep buried issues that have come to the surface and need, I think completion is the word really, or resolution, needed resolving. So illumination is a good word. Chapter 9 is the catharsis. Chapter 10 is the darkness. And I have been very aware of the darkness in unexpected ways, in a lot of ways. Chapter 11 is the healer. And the amount of healing, unexpected healing, has been really beneficial. And I have had quite a few health problems this year as well, including recovery from COVID, which I'm just recovering from now. So there's been some health issues coinciding, which doesn't surprise me at all. When there is some deep-seated psychological work going on, it can bring up health issues as well. This is another terrific chapter. Chapter 12, the psychopomp, which is the soul guide. Chapter 13 is the chain breaker. Chapter 14 is the death queen. Very much about that. That's why there's this association with Scorpio. Hecate is a very scorpionic goddess, an archetype. Chapter 15, the rebirth. I might actually say the reborn. Kore, the reborn. It's the reborn. There is an appendix, a list of practice and rituals, and great end notes as well, and a conclusion. I can only recommend this book. It is just so well written, and there is so much substance and guidance in this book, which is what Hekate is about. Hekate is about guidance through the dark, which it says here, the journey through darkness to wholeness, which is the subtitle. So this is by Cyndi Brannen, published by Weiser, just published this year. There is just so much in this book to work with and work on. I think this book is for anyone who is working with these deeper, darker issues. You don't necessarily have to be a follower or a devotee of Hekate, because there is just so much guidance and deep thought in this book. It's made me review not only a lot of personal psychological things, issues, it's made me rethink the stage that I am at with the goddess journey, because, as I said, I thought I had completed most of that work, and realizing now that there were a lot of issues that needed to be looked at. I'm still looking at those, being very much in the psychological cave, very much, and it's really helped me to make sense of that. I had some ideas of why that was going on, but the insights have been really useful. Before I found this book, I had gone through periods of being very disillusioned and in a kind of psychological stalemate. And there aren't many books that I think genuinely provide guidance and insights. This book really does do that. I think it's for people who are ready to look at different problems or issues. I think it's a kind of book that is not just about dark magic, for example. Some people may want that. This is more about a kind of a devotion practice, but it's so much more than that. It's about, you know, the kind of guidance and the direction and the whole point of encountering Hekate's cave. It's about the whole point of that. So I'll put some details below the video, but I am just so glad that I found this book, because it has come at exactly the right time that I needed this book. And I've got my little resin skull here to keep me company on the journey. So I really like this little resin skull, because I love the artwork on the cover. It's got this beautiful, it's got this skull here. just a gorgeous cover on that book. It's wonderful. Okay, so I'll put some details below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.